transition to the new normal, we have left others behind. We need to reimagine and redesign our educational system. With the collective effort of schools, sponsors, and TagPro's learning management system, and core of passionate teachers, we can deliver free education and champion the cause of our students. Together, we would be able to teach, inspire, and serve, because TagPros believes that education is a right all children deserve.
When the pandemic was officially announced and the whole country was in a lockdown, we were thinking, how are we going to end the school year?
How can St. Peter's College of Armonk continue on with its mission to provide holistic quality education?
I was really grasping for answers and talking to experts, consulting to parents and all. It was really a terrible moment.
It also didn't help that the pandemic started in the middle of the academic year, and so we had to act fast.
Others have suggested that maybe we can temporarily close our school for a while, but some of us have this kind of hope that we can just carry on.
We want to bring our education in a different level, and we know that technology is the answer.
By using virtual platforms, we were able to continue this year with a partnership with Globe through Brightspace.
When we got to Brightspace, we were able to continue a consistent quality of education. And when that arrived, we were now able to have a stable class. We were able to submit activities freely and at our own pace.
It has really helped our teachers in order to deliver their modules, their content to our students.
The ease of sharing content, real-time assessment, and structured learning process in the system of Brightspace made the learning life of every member of our community exciting and better.
Through Brightspace, we were able to see that yes, we can restore some semblance of normal life with the aid of technology.
This pandemic brought a really huge change which pushed us to innovate.
One of the best investments you can make is Brightspace for you to use to deliver your quality education to your students.
Transition to the new normal, we have left others behind. We need to reimagine and redesign our educational system. With the collective effort of schools, sponsors, and TagPro's learning management system, and core of passionate teachers, we can deliver free education and champion the cause of our students. Together, we would be able to teach, inspire, and serve, because TagPros believes that education is a right all children deserve.
When the pandemic was officially announced and the whole country was in a lockdown, we were thinking, how are we going to end the school year?
How can St. Peter's College of Armonk continue on with its mission to provide holistic quality education?
I was really grasping for answers and talking to experts, consulting to parents and all. It was really a terrible moment.
It also didn't help that the pandemic started in the middle of the academic year, and so we had to act fast.
Others have suggested that maybe we can temporarily close our school for a while, but some of us have this kind of hope that we can just carry on.
We want to bring our education in a different level, and we know that technology is the answer.
By using virtual platforms, we were able to continue this year with a partnership with Globe through Brightspace.
When we got to Brightspace, we were able to continue a consistent quality of education. And when that arrived, we were now able to have a stable class. We were able to submit activities freely and at our own pace.
It has really helped our teachers in order to deliver their modules, their content to our students.
The ease of sharing content, real-time assessment, and structured learning process in the system of Brightspace made the learning life of every member of our community exciting and better.
Through Brightspace, we were able to see that yes, we can restore some semblance of normal life with the aid of technology.
This pandemic brought a really huge change which pushed us to innovate.
One of the best investments you can make is Brightspace for you to use to deliver your quality education to your students.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jim Toscano, and welcome back to the second series of our August seminar that focuses on well-being for teachers and students in the pandemic. I am a co-founder, one of the co-founders of TagPros Children and Chief Program Officer for TagPros Education. This webinar workshop is presented by TagPros Children in partnership with TagPros Education, an up-and-coming online K-12 education marketplace where passion takes the lead in learning, and Globe Telecom, the country's leading telecommunications company in the Philippines. This event is also made possible by the Department of Education International Cooperations Office under the leadership of Director Margarita Consolacion Ballesteros, Teacher Education Network, Philippines under the management of Gino Luwayon, and of course, next series of the Computer Department of Xavier School-San Juan, headed by our own speaker for today, Ms. Jessica Demegillo. Welcome back to the second part of our August webinar workshop series. For those who are joining us for the first time, welcome. We have been airing a lot of webinar workshops now, and for the past couple of weeks, we talked about online distance learning, assessment, and for today, we are focusing on another aspect of how we can help our dear students, the children at home, the youth under our care to become better digital citizens, all under the program of well-being. Last week, we talked about self-love for our teachers out there. If you could remember, Coach Christine De Leon Alcala talked to us about, or shared to us, how we can take care of ourselves as educators and teachers, frontliners of education at this time of the pandemic. Today, we'll be talking about how we can help our students be better digital citizens with Mrs. Jessica Demegillo. Very interestingly, our topic for today is about, of course, we talk about online distance learning and other aspects of education that makes use of technology. And of course, one of the most important dimension of letting our kids or our youth use devices is to make sure that they know that they are responsible and they are very much aware of the dangers, maybe challenges of being a digital citizen. And I hope that for this afternoon, you are able to, or you should be able to join us actively, because we will be talking about very important issues right now that our students, even us ourselves, encounter in the cyberspace or in the online world. All right. So just a few thoughts. Number one, if you have noticed, we changed our lineup for this Saturday and for next Saturday. We apologize for the late information because our speaker for this afternoon supposedly has a personal emergency, and of course we want to accommodate also, because especially our topic is well-being, so we want to accommodate all the personal emergencies that our speaker has. So for this afternoon, we are very much grateful to Mrs. Jessica Demegillo for being able to accommodate TagPros and every one of us as she shares later on her webinar on digital citizens. So that's it. That's the change in the schedule that we had late this week, and of course we are just very excited and we are very grateful that you are here with us. So another reminder we usually is, of course, our topic for this afternoon is about digital citizenship, right? So we want us, dear teachers, ourselves to become models of digital citizenship to our students. So please make sure that when you interact with everyone who's participating right now, your fellow teachers, even parents, future teachers who are also joining us from here in the Philippines and even overseas, let's show some courtesy, respect to everyone. It's okay to disagree with each other, but we have a way to show it or to make it, to air our thoughts in a very much respectful and courteous way. Another reminder that we want everyone to remember is that, of course, we have been having GCash prize raffle draws, right? And we are very excited to in sharing the blessings that we have at Tag Pros to our dear teachers. However, please make sure that you don't post your GCash account or your number or any private information in our chat. We don't honor all those comments that shows your GCash number or whatever. That is not the thing that we want you to do. Instead, pay attention later on. So because we will be again explaining, if you are new to this webinar workshop series, we will be explaining later on how you would be able to share your GCash account to us. So there, let's practice digital citizenship in the way we interact with each other, in the way we interact with our speaker, and of course, in making sure that our own private information are safe. So there, before I continue with the one of the most exciting part of our webinar series is basically the announcement of previous winners of GCash prize last week. Before that, let me just greet everyone. So I'm done with all the things that I have to say. Now it's chill time. Let's try to say good afternoon to everyone. I see teachers coming from different parts of the Philippines. So from Southern Leyte, from Benguet, from Antipolo, up high in Antipolo. We have teachers coming from Pangasinan, from Cotabato, Kidapawan, of course, Manila, Masbate. So all over the Philippines, good afternoon, everyone. I can hear thunder right now outside of my room, and I hope that we are having a restful Saturday. I know that this is a very special effort that you have spending your Saturday with us. So just relax, chill, stay with us. You can have your food, your drinks with you as you listen to us. There's nothing to worry about because everything will just be chill, and the usual thing that we have for each other at ever since we have started this. All right. So thank you everyone for joining us, for being here. We look forward to your thoughts, to your insights, and to your questions, especially because our topic for today is very, very timely. It's something that we always see and hear about, especially with our students. All right. So may I ask my team to get ready to fetch the winners of the GCash raffle for last week's webinar, August 7, for part 1, August 7. All right. So before we proceed to the next part, let me just announce the winners. All right, our winners for August 7, part 1 of our webinar series for August are Richie A. Braza, Gwen Marie Kim C. Flores, Robert E. Revamunte, Angeline B. Gacatano, Catherine M. Gonyo. One more time. May I ask the technical team to make it bigger. Our GCash winners for August 7, 2021, Richie A. Braza, Gwen Marie Kim C. Flores, Robert E. Revamonte or Monte, Angeline B. Gacatano or Gocotano, Karen M. Bergonio. All right, so I apologize if I mispronounced your name, but if I have announced your name, congratulations. Please make sure that you wait for my email to you. Tagpros Education, Tagpros Children will get in contact with you for verification and details on how you will receive the cash prizes. So thank you, everyone. We will be posting also the list of winners in our social media platform so that you may also counter check. Congratulations. And of course, for this webinar series, we also have again 5 lucky participants who will win 500 GCash credit each. Okay, so if you want to be part of the 7 or 5 lucky winners for this webinar workshops raffle draw, just follow the instructions shown on the screen. Watch the webinar workshops, complete the evaluation form at the end of each session, follow Tagpros Education social media pages on YouTube and Facebook, and of course, give some love also to our sponsor. Our sponsor is Globe Telecom. Make sure that you are updated, follow their social media pages. Of course, make sure that you have your own GCash account, because if you don't have a GCash account, a verified one, we will not be able to send your GCash prizes. So for those who do not know yet Gcash, you can download the Gcash app available at Google Play Store or at Apple Store. So make sure that you create your Gcash account, and don't forget, please don't forget to verify your account, because if you don't verify your account, we will not be able to send your Gcash prizes. Speaking of winners, we still have around 3 or 4 winners from last July who has not replied to our email. Right? If you're waiting for us to send your GCash prizes without replying to our email, I'm sorry. We need your confirmation so that we can immediately send your GCash prizes. So if you know someone from last month's webinar series who won the prize, GCash prize, please make sure to give a nudge to that person and ask him or her if they have received an email and they hopefully reply to us. All right? Please make sure, again, if you have been a winner, if you were a winner last month for the July webinar series, please make sure that you check your email, because we have sent some confirmation email and we will not be sending your email, your GCash prizes, if you don't reply to our verification email. All right. And lastly, also, we were overwhelmed with your support last week. We have received thousands of evaluation forms or evaluations from last webinar series. Thank you so much. And of course, because there is a high demand for this webinar series, we ask for your patience as we follow a 1-week rule in making sure that everyone gets to watch and answer the evaluation form within 1 week after our live session. So we follow that rule 1 week. So after the live series or webinar, you only have 1 week to be part of team replay maybe, and answer the evaluation form. After that, we will not be anymore honoring any evaluation that comes after 1 week. That also applies to our GCash raffle prizes. All right. So there, I hope that you are able to catch our reminders. And again, we are very much grateful that you are here with us Saturday afternoon. Make sure that you're resting right now. Make sure that you have something. If you're hungry, bring a food with you or maybe drinks as you listen to us. All right. I think we are now ready. We are now ready to proceed to the main part of our webinar series. Okay, so let's welcome our speaker for today. She is the chairperson of the Computer Education Department of Xavier School-San Juan, and she's really an expert in digital learning. She's also a consultant. She's also a trainer. She has also led a lot of workshops, a lot of seminars, webinars right now in terms of how we can make use of technology in the classroom for teachers, at the same time working with school leaders in a way how they could further elevate learning and teaching in their school through education technology. But most importantly, she is an advocate. She is very much aware of what it means to bring technology into the hands of our students, whether they are in early education, maybe, or maybe even in the high school and college. Most importantly, also she is a mother. Also, so a lot of the things that she will be sharing to us stems from her professional expertise. At the same time, of course, being a parent, she knows also the challenges of raising a child, raising a daughter to be specific, in this very or highly digitized world. So we are very much excited to welcome our speaker. Let's welcome Mrs. Jessica Demegillo as she shares about helping students become better digital citizens.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'm Jessica Demegillo, an EdTech specialist and a computer teacher. How do we help our students become better digital citizens? First, let's define citizenship. It says here, it's the quality of an individual's response to membership in a community. How about digital citizenship? According to Ribble and Park, digital citizenship is the continuously developing norms of appropriate, responsible, and empowered technology use. We could also define it as the ability to participate safely, intelligently, productively, and responsibly in the digital world. But why do we want our students to be protected online? Why do we want them to be better digital citizens? First, we want them to be able to have the skills to navigate digital spaces and use online tools wisely. Next, we also want them to know how to handle issues on the internet. And since it's online distance learning because of the pandemic, we want them to learn effectively and efficiently as well. Aside from that, we also want them to be able to tell us what they're thinking, make their voices be heard. Let us make them more respectful also online when they meet with people who have different beliefs. So what should we do? The first thing that we should do is to always take into consideration how we want our students to be when we ask them to be good digital citizens. ISTE actually has a very good definition on who a digital citizen should be. Let me read it to you. A digital citizen is, when we say digital citizens, we are talking about learners who use their technology-driven powers conscientiously and with empathy to help make the world a better place. Isn't that wonderful, right? So it's not just interacting. There's always an after effect or a result of their interaction, and that is to make the world a better place. So, how do we actually do this? Let's remember, when we talk about digital citizenship, it's more of do's rather than don'ts. So the first thing that we're supposed to always do is to make our students more involved. So if we let our students be part of our planning and preparations, there will be a big change in how they will interact with you when it comes to online distance learning. Because the more involved they are, the more committed and responsible they will be. And also, since we want them to be involved, we also want to be able to listen to what they're going to say. So they will be given a chance or encouraged to actually share what they think about a certain situation. We also want to encourage them to find ways to learn more about the technology that they're using and how to properly use it. Okay, the second step is to keep them informed. We want to be able to teach them to evaluate accuracy, perspective, and validity of online information. Of course, we want them to develop critical mindset when dealing with content. So, if you're going to look at this photo or this image, you will actually reflect and think, have I experienced this kind of conversation with my students? Okay, so let's try to teach our students how to check the reliability of sources or information so that they'll be able to find ways to actually get the right information and use it properly. So let's remember the acronym CRAP. Very appropriate. Okay. So when we talk about the letter C, we're talking about currency. Is it the most recent information or source? Where was the information posted or published? The next letter is R, which is relevance. Is the information given in the source relevant to the topic that we're actually researching for? Is it for your intended audience? For example, you're talking about a certain topic for the grade school, but the information might be relevant to the high school students. Okay, the next letter is A for accuracy. Is the accuracy of the content connected back to the origin? Is there evidence that support the information being presented to the audience? Are there errors on the content? You could also ask that question. And the next A is authority. Is the author qualified to write about the topic? Is there a contact information where you can coordinate or write to the author or publisher? And the last one is purpose. Is it right for your research? Is the author's intention clear? So again, let's not forget CRAP so that we'll be able to evaluate our resources properly. Okay, when you think about it, evaluating your resource is also similar to spotting fake news. This particular poster from IFLA is a very good example of that. You will see that whatever we discuss with CRAP is also found here in this particular item because we want to be able to not just check the relevance of the resources that we're actually getting from the internet, but also be able to see what kind of information that is. Is it fake or not? Okay, the third is we want our students to be alert. When we say alert, we want them to understand their rights, responsibilities, and know ethical behavior. We also want them to remember that digital health and wellness should be prioritized. Okay, so let's have one example of digital health and wellness, which is the 20-20-20 rule. So when we say 20-20-20, for every 20-minute screen time that we do, we look at something 20 feet away for about 20 seconds. This will give our eyes a chance to relax or to refocus so that we don't have tired eyes and we won't be able to have problems later on. Okay, the next technique that we should do for digital health and wellness is to try to have an offline time. Come to think of it, I don't know if we really practice being offline. As teachers, we always find, and parents, and of course, most of the time, our students as well, we always want to be online, right? So, but really, we have to find a way to be offline, to think of which part of the day do we want to be offline. Is it at the start of the day or at the end of the day, or can you do both? Well, obviously, if you can do both, that would be best. Okay, we also want to be able to create opportunities for our students to work with different kinds of people. So this can either be with classmates or with peers or with industry experts. Even though we're learning online, or even though our students are learning online, there are still a lot of opportunities that we can give them to be able to talk to each other, interact with each other, or to invite people to talk to them so that they won't have a missed opportunity to learn about something. Okay. It's also good practice to design activities that teach students to be more accepting and compassionate of others. Actually, if you're going to think about it, this is the right time for the students to be more compassionate to others. It's the pandemic and there are a lot of things that are happening. If they have the capability to help others or to reach out to others, this would be the best time to do it. Okay. But how can they be safe online, and how do they create safe spaces for others? Let's remember that it's not just them being safe. They also have to have the chance to create spaces that's safe for others as well. And how do we want them to save or secure their personal information? There are a lot of posters that are available online as well that you can show your students or your sons or daughters that will help them keep their information, personal information, safe and secure. This is one of them, which is also an acronym, SMART. Stay safe, don't meet up, don't just accept files. Check if the reliability of the information or the person or the website is telling the truth. And then tell someone if there are things that happen that's not comfortable anymore. The next one is to have a positive digital footprint. This is also a very good poster because it gives you simple reminders and techniques on how to have a positive digital footprint. Okay, first is privacy. You have to keep your information. You have to secure your profile as well. Do you want people to know who you are? Do you want people to know a lot about you? So make sure that what you want to tell the people would only be the contents of your profile. Next is to be able to protect yourself from others. So that would mean when we accept or we experience negative behavior, what do? We have to tell someone. Next, we have to have a positive presence online there. We want to be able to inspire others. And the last one is permission. We have to ask permission before we do something like downloading and sharing personal information or information in general. Okay. So a lot of things have also been discussed about data privacy. And there are 4 topics that are very crucial when we talk about data privacy. That is oversharing and share renting. They're somewhat similar because you're like giving away a lot of information about a certain person or about yourself. The next one is tagging. When you tag someone, a place, a picture, a person, you're able to like connect the dots and people will be able to find you or search information about you faster. And of course, since we're always at home and we are there are a lot of opportunities for us to interact online using digital e-commerce. That would mean purchasing something online. It's also it's also one of the reasons why data privacy is sometimes neglected or there is a problem or an issue on data privacy. So, what should you do for this particular things to not have problems in the future? How are you going to protect your data? First, share with caution. Always share only what is required. Don't give out information that's not needed. Second, think before sharing devices. Obviously, I think most of us, if not all of us, have digital wallets. Example would be GCash. And when you share your device to someone, all the information will be share to that someone as well. So take into consideration, do I want to share my device to someone? Especially if there is data that's very important in your device. Next, verify all web addresses. As I've mentioned a while ago, there are a lot of transactions that we do online, a lot of researching that we do online, so we have to be very careful if this particular websites are really real or not. And the last suggestion would be to keep payment methods separate from your bank account. So there's online banking nowadays. Sometimes we use it to actually purchase something directly. A good suggestion would be to not use your bank accounts directly, but use another digital wallet so you're able to protect your main bank account there. That's also a very good suggestion. Okay, so as teachers and parents, how do we create safe and secure digital space for our students or for our sons or daughters? First is you have to plan and set your goals. Why are you doing this digital space, and what do you plan to do with that digital space? Second is to determine if your students have the right access to whatever you want them to do. Okay, so make sure that it's age appropriate as well. Are the resources selected already? Do you want them to search on their own and have them be the one to decide if that website or that resource will be good for them or not? So we have to be very careful if you want to make sure that that particular space is safe and secure. And you have to remember, what can I monitor? Be realistic. If you cannot monitor 10 breakout rooms, make them 3 only or 5 only. And another good question would be, what should you monitor? So obviously, if you have collaborative work or projects, you have to be able to monitor those kinds of things. Okay, number 4 would be, we want our students to be empowered. We want our students to be responsible content creators because they're already content creators. But we have to remind them that whatever they do creates a ripple effect. And we also want to encourage them that when they engage in with different kinds of people, there should be positive talk and they should be inspiring enough, okay, to be able to encourage others to be truthful as well. Okay, so before, their world was just the school, right? Because, for example, they're not that connected with the world yet. But now, since it's online distance learning and there's a lot of opportunities to be online, their world is not just the school anymore. It's actually the entire world already. So they're not just talking about the school community. A lot of people will be able to see their content. Okay, so there are a lot of apps now that enables them to create instant content. And we have to actually teach them these particular questions that they need to be asking every time they create something. First, is it original? Is it the truth? Is it engaging and thought-provoking? Is it able to convey their message? But they're not just creators of content. They're consumers of content as well. Obviously, we want them to be responsible. And before they do that, or before they decide to share something, they also have to ask the following questions. Is it able to respect intellectual property rights? Is it useful? Is it credible or accurate? And is it inspiring and encouraging? Since they're using content and they're creating content, they should be able to cite sources properly. We have to teach them about copyright. We have to let them understand that a person who created the work gets to choose how it is used. Okay? All works online are copyrighted unless it's stated otherwise. So when are works not copyrighted? An example of which is public domain, because the work belongs to the public and you don't need permission to use it. And another option would be Creative Commons, wherein creators can choose creative licenses. There are around 6 actually, and it somewhat gives you, the user or the one who wants to use the work, a guide. It gives you a guide on how you're going to use the work without the need to ask the creator. So again, what do you need to do to talk about when we're talking about content creation and sharing? First is, this is a very good technique or a strategy. Create original content. If you can, take your own photos, make your own music, use your creativity. Second, use royalty-free resources. So search for websites that have public domains or are part of Creative Commons. Next, if you cannot do that, ask permission and cite your source properly. And the last one, always fact check, always evaluate your content. Okay, and the last thing that we want our students to do is to be engaged. We want them to do something worthwhile to help make the world a better place. So how do we do it? We find ways in which they can actually think of possible solutions to a problem. Not just a problem, maybe a real world problem. And of course, as teachers, as parents, we want to be able to use our influence to drive change on our students through technology. So we've talked about how we can help our students become better digital citizens. But for me, and for you to remember it easier, I found this ISTE poster about how to become a digital citizen. It has the same content as what I've discussed a while ago. The first one is I'm inclusive, which talks about engaging with others online with respect and empathy. The next one is I'm informed, where the students are able to evaluate accuracy and validity of information. The third one is I'm engaged, wherein you are asked to have civic engagement and to be a force for good. The next one is I'm balanced. So you're able to prioritize time and activities offline and offline. Okay? And the last one, I'm alert. I know how to be safe online and create safe spaces for others. I think that ends my session for this particular afternoon. I hope that with my suggestions and with the things that I've shown you, we will be able to help our students become better digital citizens. And to end my talk, we teachers should also have the same passion and dedication when it comes to being better digital citizens. Again, I'm Jessica Demegillo, and thank you for joining me this afternoon.
All right. So thank you so much, Mrs. Jessica Demegillo. Very short and sweet sharing, but very practical. What I love about the session or the talk of Jessica was the practicality of everything. So we are opening our floor right now, our virtual floor, for questions. I think our participants are getting ready with their questions. So please make sure that you comment your insights and your questions. But first thing, I wanna ask Mrs. Demegillo. Jessica, you spoke about the different challenges of maybe raising a kid in a very digital world. But at the same time, I also realize that even us teachers needs to become better digital citizens, right? First question, have you had encounters or personal encounters in terms of forgetting what it means to become a digital citizen?
I guess we all have those kinds of situations wherein we are faced with a particular situation and a predicament where you need to decide if you're going to do something or what would be your next step if you're given a particular situation. So I guess if you remember, one of the digital citizenship aspects is to be able to respect copyright of creators, of authors, of creators. That's including movies and TV shows or if you're a K-drama fanatic, I'm sure a lot of you are here. And sometimes the K-drama shows are not available in legitimate or legal sites. And you want to be able to watch it as soon as it is released, right? So it gives me a lot of how do I say that? I have to think a lot before I decide to go to the sites that don't actually need to be you don't need to pay just to watch. So now I'm more patient, I think. I tend to just wait for either the legal sites which are Netflix, View, and all the others before I watch, because since we're in the pandemic, I'm usually home. And one of the things that we do as a family is to watch movies or videos. So I guess there are a lot more things that come into mind. But basically, as a parent, you also tend to experience these kinds of things with your daughter. So for me, when si Ana kasi is a gamer, so she likes playing games, and sometimes I cannot understand how long why does she take so much time playing. And I realize siguro parang ganun din naman tayo nung nung naglalaro tayo sa labas, 'di ba? That's their way of being free or maybe interacting with their classmates, because we cannot go out. We don't have any choice but to stay at home there.
Yeah, I do remember. I do remember when I did not have yet the capacity to pay for my own streaming services. And I'm not proud of this. And yeah, I think I think the most common term, piracy. We're guilty. A lot of us are guilty of it. But I did realize the importance of, because I always hear that they would say, "Oh, don't pirate stuff," right? But then when I had friends who are working on multimedia companies, like they're part of creative productions, and I got to see the hard work that they have. It really feels like we're cheating them on their what they're supposed to earn, the good things that they have. So there's one question here. I think this is a topic that we have touched early on, and it's very controversial. They have a question, Mrs. Demegillo. How do we know if the website that we're watching is good or not?
Syempre, if you're going to pay, kasi di ba, if it's copyrighted material, why do creators need copyright their work? Because pinaghirapan nila yon. I mean, they did sacrifice their time, their effort, their talents. Therefore, we have to pay them properly. So, if the creator author does not benefit from that particular website, or ibig sabihin, you don't pay to actually, because the payment, part of it goes to the author. So therefore, or the creator. So therefore, if you do not do anything, obviously you are violating the rights of that particular creator or author. So that's very simple. If you don't pay and you just watch it free, unless the author actually gives you permission to do so, that's a violation already.
Yeah. I think we can even expand this further, like before, like music, MP3 downloads, and on to all those kinds of things. Yeah, it's very challenging right now, but the bottom line really is that we need to give due respect, and we need to give what is due to whoever created that, or the producer of the videos or whatever. I brought this out because even in content creation in YouTube. So for our vloggers out there, they know this, that the moment they use materials from other people, they can be flagged because
Yes.
they're using something that they don't own, right? and they have to pay something, or like, share profit or royalty. Expanding this further, as teachers, Mrs. Demegillo, um, do we always have the freedom to make use of anything that we see online?
That's very simple to answer. No. Diba? I mean, no one has the freedom. Even if you're a teacher, whoever you are, you don't have the freedom, because the copyright is the right that you give to the author or the creator. So regardless of what they create, videos, photos, anything else that they upload, content, the right is on the author itself, or the rights are given to the author. So therefore, unless it's given free of use, which is public domain. A while ago, I discussed about this already. Unless it's freely given to everyone, or if they use Creative Commons, as I've mentioned a while ago, there are around 6 licenses that you can choose from, depending on how the author wants to be cited or recognized. So then that's the only time that you can use anything. For academic purposes, that's what we call fair use. I think we're very much familiar with that. Diba? There are questions that you need to ask if you're going to be able to use copyrighted work. Because there are times that we want to be able to use only a part of, for example, a video. You cannot download an entire YouTube video and then show it to class or use it for other things, right? Because obviously, initially, ang usually na sinasabi natin kasi is, hindi ko naman ibebenta, gagamitin ko lang siya for academic purposes. Well, if you're going to just use it, for example, for a particular portion of your lesson and you don't plan to do it, I think initially that would be around pwedeng pagbigyan. Pero sa totoo lang, technically, that's not allowed. Because there's only a certain percentage of that video that you are supposed to get to be able to be free from copyright. There's a certain percentage that you're going to think about. So I guess the best solution for that is, what we usually do is either we live stream from that channel, because the benefit always comes back to those who post it. Kunyari, gumawa ako ng, like Tag Pros, di ba? If you you actually put your videos online and you want people to watch it, they will watch from your channel, right? So therefore, the benefit comes from those who created it, or will be given to those who created it. So I guess that's a general rule. If you do not follow the fair use principle, or if you're not following intellectual property rights, obviously that's clearly a violation of the copyright of that particular creator or user.
Right. Thank you so much, Miss Demegillo, for that explanation. I do remember what we always say: if in doubt, or the basic default is ask permission. Message, and a message to the creator, to the owner of the material that you're going to use, and of course, basic courtesy, ask permission. Cyril Ocania is reminding us it's about intellectual property rights. Some people have also mentioned the big idea of respecting intellectual copyrights of other people. You know, we're not YouTubers, we're not content creators, but Kristen asked, "Ma'am, I have a question. How about the YouTuber that are creating reaction videos? Are they violating copyrights?"
Sige.
Yeah, you know what? If you've noticed a lot of reaction videos right now, because I also watch, they tend to cut it. They tend to cut in bits and pieces, because that's what Jessica was mentioning a while ago. You can just use a certain percentage, right, Jessica? A certain percentage, for example, of a video, and everything beyond that is considered, not anymore proper. Is that correct? So if you've noticed, all our video or our YouTubers, they tend to cut them into pieces or into bits and pieces, and then at the same time they tend to lessen the volume. They tend to lessen the volume so that the YouTube algorithm will not be able to hear the video or music. Is that it? So I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure also that anyone who uses another video from another content creator, actually YouTube flags it already, and then notifies the video editor creator that they cannot monetize it. That the money goes to the original creator. Why do I do that? I'm not a content creator, but we know the ins and outs. All right. So there's another question here, Je. Sorry, let's just remove that first. Thank you so much, Kristen, for that wonderful questions and insight. Before we go to the next question, maybe some kind positive words to our speaker. Olive says, "Thanks, Mom Jessica, for this very informative, interesting, and relevant topic. It is a very timely webinar." Next question that we have. Right. Okay, we have a lot of questions now.
Gusto ko lang ang dami nating questions. Kanina, medyo konti lang yung mga questions na dumadating, right? Sige.
Oh, on the side of the teacher, I think this is in fact about data privacy. As a teacher from Bolen, is it okay to get the contact details of the parents of our student? Is it a violation of data privacy? Okay, your thoughts?
I guess it depends on the school because obviously we need the contact details of our parents so we'll be able to communicate with them faster, easier, and all that. So what we usually do is before we get information from either the parents or students or the students, we have a digital policy, I forgot the term. We always have that particular aspect of having policies that they need to remember or follow because the school actually there's a law now, medyo mas strict na yung Philippines about it. Nung una, it wasn't, kahit matagal na yung law it wasn't really that strict before, but now there are a lot of things that we have to take into consideration when we gather information from anyone. So it's not just the parents or the students. It has to be getting information in general. So before you plan to get information from anyone or before you post information from anyone of any member of the school community, like a student, a parent, teachers, the policies and rules should be very clear. So what we do in Xavier is we have an actual memo that we give at the start of the school year, or I think it's during enrollment, and the parents go through it and they know already what where we stand, right? So I think that's one thing that you should do before you collect information. Because the question would be, what will you do with the information? Diba? Who will handle the information? Because there should be only a group of people who will handle the information and not everyone. So it should also take into consideration who will manage the information and how that particular information will be distributed to people. So for example, if you are part of the formation team and you are a guidance counselor of a particular grade level, you will not get the information that is given to, for example, grade 10 students because you're a grade 8 guidance counselor, things like that. So access to information is very important. Who gets access to all this information so that the parents, before they give their information to you, they are they know exactly what the information is for and what the information will be used for.
Yes. If I may add also, I don't know if this is part of our Data Privacy Act, but even in other regions, like in Europe, for example, because I was in a conversation with another educator, even the length of how many days the organizer gets to keep the data. So how long they will keep those data and what they will do after, for example, 30 days. So I think we're very much strict on that, but I think it's basic courtesy right now that because we want to give due respect to everyone, and we don't have to share everything on social media, right? Even I'm pretty sure even pictures of students, right, Jessica? The pictures of students in
Yes.
your class, you don't have the default rights to post them. Can
I
you
know, right?
enlighten us, Jessica, on that question or that note?
Do you remember when we all started online distance learning? We were so excited. We wanted to post our Zoom pictures, and those pictures had actual photos of students with their names just on the below the image, right? And that exactly is what we post on the net without us knowing how to remove it or without us filtering that particular information. Once you post something like that, you automatically are showing the world who that person is, what the name of that student is, what school is he from, and what grade level. So imagine the type of information you're releasing to the public by just posting a simple picture of your class. So I guess initially we weren't really scared to showcase everything um, to the world, right? If you remember, we wanted to share everything, all information that we want to be able to show the world. Syempre, if you're a teacher, you're proud of your students, right? You're so excited to showcase what you do in class, how you're going, who your students are, how happy they are when they're in your class. But of course, we have to take into consideration if I post this particular picture, what will happen to my students? Will other people get information or use that information against them? So if you say yes to those questions, don't post it because that's automatically a red tag that would mean that you're not supposed to give too much information. A while ago, I shared share renting. I don't know if you heard that particular word, but when I researched on that, medyo guilty ako dun sa share renting. I'm sure a lot of parents here are guilty of that. So if you remember, if you're new, when before I gave birth, we have ultrasounds, and there's a film that's given to you. I posted it online. That's already the very first digital footprint of my daughter. Imagine mo, hindi pa siya pinapanganak, may digital footprint na siya online kasi may picture na pinost ako. And up to now, sad to say, I still am share renting because I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm just so proud of her. But buti na lang she's not active on Facebook, meaning she has a messenger but she doesn't use Facebook. So my share renting skills are a little lower than what than what it usually is. So again, as parents, let's not share too much information about, especially if our children are minors or don't have the capacity to actually try to filter the information that is shown online or that is given online. Yun. Thank you.
Yeah, we have some comments here, like from Barreto Daline Grace. She says to post a photo of the pupils online, there must be a permit signed by the parents allowing us to post their child's pictures in any online platform like graduation ceremony. This is very correct. I do remember Jessica and I work in the same school, and we were creating some showcase videos. And you know what? If we had 400 students in that video, because it's a showcase video, we had to make sure that all of the 400 students have actually sent back to us the reply slip stating that their parents allows them to be part of the video. And we had to read each of those reply because some parents says it's okay, but we don't want their nameplates because they have names here, on their polo to be shown. Or maybe it's okay, but if possible, back part only of the child. So things like that, and we need to give to respect the decision of the parents, because in the end, the trust that the parents have given to us, we're not there to post them. I know it's very tempting. I also had my own fair share of that when I was a new teacher. that would be very tempting to do, right? You're happy for your students, but then in the end, it will be really, really, it takes a lot of self mastery, right? For us to be able to avoid that. We have a lot of things being asked right now. I have, because we were talking about intellectual property rights a while ago. It's now gone because we have a lot of comments here. Sabi ni RJ is one of our most active participants even before. Napakahalaga ang pagpapahalaga sa ating karapatan in posting of things. Well said, RJ. Jessica, was one question here. What if hindi pumayag daw yung may-ari? What if the owner of that material, like video or song, did not allow you? What are you supposed to do?
That's also a simple answer. Don't use it. Kasi obvious naman. Obvious naman, 'di ba? If that particular person said no, it's just saying he or she doesn't want you to use his content or his creation. So let's respect that. Parang katulad ng madalas kong nababasa dito sa comments, respeto sa taong gumawa nun. So because we want to be able to respect people and we want people to also respect us. Imagine for example, bumuo ka ng lesson plan mo. Tapos yung lesson plan mo na yun, that particular lesson plan, you used it or you made it for a week, created it, made it perfect, made sure that everything that everything that all the skills and knowledge that you have, you put it inside that lesson plan. And then a teacher would want to use that lesson plan, but you said no because you don't want that teacher to use it, not because of anything else. It's just that at that time, of course, teachers, please share. Allow people to share, to use your content if it's going to help them. But for example, you as a teacher wouldn't want that particular lesson to be used elsewhere. So because you know that you gave your all in that lesson, therefore, you have the right to say no, to not be able to use it. But because Jim and I experience the same things, we actually have or love people who share content because we know it's in sharing that we learn more, right? And it's in sharing that we help other people learn more as well. So that's why we're both here sharing a lot of things. But I'm just letting you understand the process that goes through something before something is created. So it takes a lot of effort, of time, and all that. So therefore, let's respect people who say that it should not be used. Then don't use it or buy it. Kasi di ba, there are writers or creators who say don't use it. But if you ask them to purchase it, you can purchase it and then they say yes, then I think that's also a good way of acknowledging their work. Teka, may maganda akong kwentong gustong pag-usapan because it's very important as well. In Twitter last time, there was this issue on artists and then they were really feeling very sad because some people don't want to pay them because they think that the work was too easy. Imagine being a person saying, who's not an artist, saying to you that you don't deserve to be paid for the work that you do. My heart broke because I know that, of course, when you do something, it gives you really, parang yung binigay mo yung buong puso mo tapos wala kang karapatang humingi ng bayad kasi sa palagay nila hindi maganda yung gawa mo or hindi karapat-dapat bayaran. So I guess that's a very nice thing to talk about when we talk about intellectual property rights.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's a wonderful thought, Jessica. In terms of respecting our creators, in the end, it's not just really about it's not just about money. If they don't want to share it to you, then it's fine. It's okay. It's simply about giving due respect to everyone because in the end, the intellectual property rights belongs to them. It's not really on us. So, but if we want to use, maybe that's a challenge for us. Maybe we can create our own materials or All right. So I have another question here by Christine C. Magala. I apologize right now if I'm coming through in a very choppy way. Thunderstorm is just raging. It's raging outside, so I hope I'm getting through well. How can we manage and minimize the negative impact of our digital footprint? Yung mga magaling mag-post every second of their life, they post on IG story or I don't know, My Day in Facebook or maybe every post, how do we minimize the negative impact of the digital footprint, especially because everything that we put online will in fact be online forever? Jay, what are your thoughts about this?
Actually, nakakatakot yung tanong na yan, sa totoo lang. If you're, what we usually do when we teach our students about digital footprint, the first activity that we do is we ask our students to Google themselves. Okay. So later on, after this particular webinar, what you need to do is to Google yourself and see how much information is there online about you. Okay? And see if that particular information is positive or negative. Okay, if you can delete the things that should not be there, then please do delete them. For example, there was a time where I think all teachers would join a lot of apps that needed you to log in or sign in before you could use them, and then you're not using them anymore. So those apps need to be deleted. Your accounts need to be deleted so that the information that you place in that particular website or app will be removed. So if you just leave it there and those accounts are not active anymore, there's a possibility someone will hack into it, they will get your information, and they will use that information. So di ba tayo ang hilig natin mag-change ng profile pic or in a particular account, and then we just leave it. We don't open that account anymore, or we keep on changing our accounts. So my suggestion would be first is to make sure that you Google yourself every now and then, check your digital footprint, see how much information is there, and then find ways on how you can clear that information if you don't want it there. Because as long as it's there and you don't do anything about it, obviously it will pile up and it will all be connected to you. It's like before, we're also too excited to tag a lot of things, right? If you remember, when tagging was initially introduced to us, pag kumakain tayo sa labas, do you remember? We have to tag that restaurant just to say na nandun tayo.
Oh, yeah.
We have to check in to a place. When we do go to a place, we need to check in to say where we are, diba? Actually, that's very dangerous, right? Because people can actually track you. People will know where you are at the moment. So, siguro, I think we've learned a lot about on tagging, and what we usually do is tag late on a later date. Like, for example, if you're in a current restaurant, what you do is you post something about the restaurant on the next day when you're not there anymore, para people will not be given parang a clue na nandun ka, and it will automatically it's just like protecting yourself from possible danger, di ba?
Yeah.
So kunyari hindi mo naman i-announce sa kapitbahay mo na aalis ka ng isang linggo, di ba? Kasi alam nila kasi kakalat 'yon, di ba? So what you do is you protect yourself. So that would mean, kanina I saw it in one of the comments. So whatever you do offline is similar to what you should be doing online. So if you're protecting yourself, like putting fences in your houses, locking your doors, closing your windows, that's also how you should protect yourself when you are online. Meaning you also do the necessary things to protect your personal information. There.
Yeah. That's very timely, because I did hear the dangers of checking in, tagging where you are, your location, especially because I like what Jessica's mentioned. I wanna push this further because there was a news. I think it's not here in the Philippines. I think it's the United States. Like the potential robbers of the house, really saw that they tagged themselves and they announced to the whole world, in social media, that they are not at home. like for 1 week they're in somewhere, and you know what those criminals did, the robbers, they really took advantage of that information. So Jessica has really made a good point there, because that really happened in real life already, especially if for example your account has been set to public, right? People get to see what's happening around you, or maybe in your life. Like even the information, your information, for example, your birthday. And Jessica, what's the most used password? Most is the easiest to crack password of many people. It's there.
Birthday?
It's your birthday. And you use that in your password, and then you announce it to the whole world that it's your birthday. It's in your profile. Good luck with that, because that's very, very dangerous. Jessica, I think we touched a lot of issues a while ago with intellectual property rights. Maybe we need to clarify, because there's one comment here that says, "How about thesis? How about written materials and all those kinds of stuff? Is it okay to cite, just basically cite them, Je?"
For written materials, there are a lot of ways that you need to do or to follow in order to cite. I think it's also very clear how you're supposed to do that, diba? You're not supposed to just copy and paste also information from written materials. Similar to when you just copy and paste from a website. It's the same process, diba? You cannot, kaya nga diba, parang may quoting tayo if we do have an actual research. We quote things that we get from a book, for example, or an article, a journal. So we don't put the entire article there and put it on your thesis, right? It's just a part of that, or you either summarize that particular article or that particular part of the book, or you say, from this particular book, it says that, things like that, diba? Meron naman talagang process yon.
Yeah.
So pareho lang naman, it's the same thing. I think it doesn't change whatever media you're going to use. It's how you use it, and how you plan to use that information when you make your own information. So we just have to be very careful with how we're going to use it.
Yeah, and I think also like those academic stuff, it's easier for us to make use of other materials, because we give due credits to everyone, and we're supposed to do that, or else your thesis professor advisor will not let you pass. Actually, your research teacher will not let you pass if you don't cite or do the proper way of citing, or maybe paraphrasing the work of other people. So I think it's really more of giving due respect. I think what we need to consider here is, number one, if you're using a material and you're gonna upload it somewhere and sort of monetize it, let's be real. Let's be real. People go on YouTube, people create their own video content material. Aside from the first maybe fact that you want to share, you want to entertain and everything, you get something out of it. And I think that's one reason why everyone's going to YouTube, right? That's one reason. A lot of reasons are there, but that's why YouTube has an internal algorithm that says, "Hey, that's not yours." And for example, me, I use Jessica's wonderful video because Jessica is also an actress, right? So her part, for example, is there, right? The TV series. Or by the way, this is true. I get to use that in my own video. YouTube will tell me that this video belongs to Jessica. And it's not a copyright strike, but we're just telling you that you cannot monetize this. Instead, the monetization goes to Jessica, who owns part of this. It's just being fair, also, right? It's just being fair. That's why you're a content creator. You create your own content, right? So there. Okay, I hope we're very clear with that. Again, dear teachers, if you're not quite sure, if it's not your own, ask permission. If you think that there are so many processes, or you have too many works, or maybe you're too lazy to do that, that's a harsh word, too lazy. But if you're that, then don't use it, because put yourself in the position of that other creator. How would you feel if they don't even recognize you, right? So yeah. There's a question here from Erwin, Ms. Jessica Demegillo, and I think this is a very, very important question because it's in all caps. Ma'am, from Erwin Wenceslao. Ma'am, in online platform during your class discussion, is it right for them, I think this for the students, to open and show their face, or even if they like it or not, and show their face in the Google Meet class? So I think this is an issue of video on or video off.
Video off.
Jessica, what about this?
It's funny because this has been an issue for us, remember, Jim, ever since we started online distance learning. Because there are a lot of articles that say the student should be given the choice to not turn on their videos, or to respect for us to be able to respect their privacy, so they don't need to turn on their videos. But I guess it boils down to what your school really wants. Do you want your students to be online, and do you want to see them interacting with each other and with the teacher? Therefore, that's the one of the things that you can do is for you to ask your students to turn on their videos, because syempre, if it's off, you won't know what they're doing, or you won't know if how they're going to interact or react with what you're going to show. So I guess first things first is will all of your students be able to turn on their videos? Kasi internet-wise, there are also problems with that. If you turn on your videos, your internet should be capable of being able to turn on your videos for the duration of your class. Kung kaya naman, kung kaya ng lahat to turn on their videos without internet problems, and you think that will help you as a school or as a teacher to be able to see your students, then do it. But if you think that there are other things that you have to take into consideration, because there are other requests for this one. In our school, there are things that happen that, for example, a student is not comfortable showing this part of his house, for example, or a student is not comfortable showing maybe who is seen when someone walks, diba? Syempre, our houses are not built to be work from home or school from home houses, unless you have an actual area in your house that will somewhat give you a chance to just be there and not be distracted with a lot of things. So if that's actually possible, and no other student or parent would request for a change in, for example, policy, then it's your choice to let your students turn on their videos. But if you think that there will be problems, there will be concerns, and it will violate some of the things that your students will request, then maybe it's a case-to-case basis. So for example, generally, you can turn on the videos of all the students, but if someone requests to turn off his video because of internet concerns or problems with privacy, I think we have to be able to accommodate that, because it's only our second year in the pandemic. It's only also our second year to be fully online. So maybe we haven't had a chance yet to find a real solution to the concerns that we have now. So just be accepting as of the moment, or be flexible as well. Kasi syempre, hindi naman natin alam kung ano yung pinagdadaanan din nila, or kung ano yung mga sitwasyon nila. So, kung mahirapan lang din sila at alam mo namang totoo yung sinasabi nila, hindi naman fake news, then I think we have to take that into consideration.
Yeah, so I love what you mentioned about understanding them, Jessica. I think we can put rules in place, but then in the end, the rule is not there to force everyone. There's a reason why there should be a reason why you want them to turn their video on. And if you think, for example, you believe that turning your video on during live session maybe leads to engagement, then you have to think deeper. Does it mean that if my students are turning their videos off, are they not listening to me? Or maybe there are other reasons. That's where what Jessica's mentioned a while ago. I think we should be more accommodating right now. And of course, we just want to share something. Some of the teachers that we know, Of course, if the student says their internet connection is not strong, so they can turn their videos off. But during recitation, they're the number one priority to be asked. So you can do that. You can be creative in your classroom management. Doesn't stop you from, making sure that they're listening to you. All right. So wonderful question, Erwin, and thank you, Jessica. Another, I think, very, very, this one, parang may hugot to, ha, Je? And it's very hugot, actually. Right? It's from Clarissa Barcena. Good afternoon, ma'am. May ginawa po akong activity for my class. I put my name below and the date when I made the activity. My coworker borrowed the copy from me and erased my name and put her name as the author, then have it photocopied for her class activity. Is there a violation po, ma'am?
Ang ganda ng tanong. Pero unang-una, I guess I need to know first, hiniram or pinahiram or ano ba yung, ano yung sitwasyon?
Borrowed a copy.
Borrowed. With the intention of using it ba? I mean, kunyari, for example, because we have team planning, right, in school. Meaning, when the group works on a particular worksheet, for example, it is understood that even if I made, for example, the worksheet, it will be used by the other team members. So it's not anymore a matter of who will use it because you have team planned for it already. Second, as I've mentioned, it was borrowed from you with the intention ba of actually using it. I guess that's what of the things that we have to consider. But sad reality, Clarissa, I have to warn you, anything that you do because you work in a school belongs to the school. The copyright of all the things that you do belongs to your school. Therefore, for example, di ba, if you remember, if you leave the school or if you go to another school or another grade level, you have to give the things that you use to the next person who will use it because the copyright of that particular work is with the school itself. So, para siyang hindi siya for personal use, it's for work use. So, lahat ng mga ginagawa natin in school, lahat ng work na ginagawa natin sa school will be used by anyone who will benefit from that particular work. Like, for example, if you're making a unit plan, kahit na nag-retire ka na, if that particular unit plan is still going to be used by the members of the department, it really doesn't matter because it was created within the school company or the company that you're making. Therefore, the rights to that particular work is with that particular school. I don't know if you remember this, Jim. It was an issue before as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think what Jessica is saying here is that if you work for a school, all the things that you do, all the documents actually falls into the jurisdiction of that school. I think that's one thing that we need to remember. However, I think this has been a very touchy topic, right? Intellectual property rights, of course, it belongs to you. But then in the end, if the teacher is someone, maybe your co-teacher teaching the same team, and you're supposed to work together, maybe that's part of your collaboration. We're not quite sure. That's why Jessica was asking for more information because, depending on the context where you are, right? Especially when you're working with, for example, you're two science teachers for one grade level, and you're supposed to work on the same module or lesson plan or whatever and have their names on it. However, there's a reply here. Ang sabi niya, Je, copy-paste kasi po yun, ma'am. Nanghingi ng soft copy of my activity sheets for her class, also in another school. I think if that's the case, then I think we need to make sure that we give due respect, right?
Syempre, oo. I mean, regardless of what we talk about regarding violations of copyright, the very first thing that we have to remember is when you ask permission, always reveal the reason why you're borrowing or you're asking someone to give his work to you. So for example, pahiram naman ng lesson mo. So sabi mo, sige, pero wala ka namang sinabi kung anong balak mong gawin sa lesson. Hiramin ko, gagamitin ko sa class. So that's very clear. You know from the very start that that particular teacher will use that lesson that you created in his class because maybe yours is better. Noon, sa totoo lang, it takes a lot of effort for us to share these kinds of things, instructional materials, lesson plans, and all those other things. But now, actually, in the education world, we are encouraged to keep on sharing because the monopoly of the information or the way things are done should not just be yours. How will the others? How will you be able to help others if it's just going to be you who will keep on using something that you know will be beneficial not only for the teachers but for the students as well. So I was asking what was the intention when that was borrowed. So if it's going to be on this used in the same school, I think the what's lacking is that particular teacher telling you what's the intention of borrowing that material. Kaka-copy-paste ba niya? Gagamitin niya sa class? Parang ganyan. Or, pero ang medyo mahirap, pinahiram niya kasi for another school. Hindi yun basta-basta dapat nangyayari. Because, diba?
That's an official document.
Yes,
also.
that's an official document. And official documents should undergo a process. So what are the processes that you should do before you can borrow something from another school? Ask permission. You email the principal or you email the head teacher or the teacher. I saw this particular worksheet and I'd like to use it in my class. And they say yes, okay lang yun. And for example, ako, I made an activity on digital citizenship and I posted it in my blog. And I say there, this is public domain. Anyone can use it. That's no problem because you automatically mentioned how others will use your work. So sa totoo lang, walang maging problema doon. But ito kasi parang may intention of, medyo yung intention yung mahirap. Kasi naramdaman ko yung sama ng loob mo, ma'am. Parang ganyan. Di ba? Parang hiniram mo tapos kinapi-paste mo, hindi mo naman sinasabi sa akin, di ba? Mano ba naman yung sabihin mo? Parang ganyan. So I guess it doesn't really need to be really formal when you share with each other, especially if you're within the school, the same school community. But yun nga, respeto lang to be able to ask the teacher nicely, to ask them that when you ask them, you tell them also exactly what you will plan. What do you plan to do with that particular resource?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of different views here, and this is very interesting. And I love the question, and I love the comment. So this is so straightforward, but this is also the question: bakit kasi kailangan mangopya in the first place, right? So Kim Daly Fortes Miranda, very straightforward, which also makes sense. Right? Bakit kasi kailangan mangopya? Right? So maybe baka napagod na si teacher or whatever. But I think we need to go back to what Jessica's mentioned. You know, the worksheets, the assessments, the lesson plan that you do, they actually are official documents that belong to the school. They actually belong to the school. So all the things that you do, all the lesson plans, all the records that you make, they actually belong to the school. And like what Jessica's mentioned, if they are official documents, there should be a proper way of even pulling out the documents and sharing it to other people. That's why, those are information. Those are official documents. We don't just talk about, the records of the student, everything that you have created. So there, sabi ni Kim also here. Kim has very interesting thoughts. Maybe we can just need to be more creative. Let's just make our own activities. I mean, it's not bad to refer to others. You can always see. Jessica talk about sharing your materials online. That's okay. I do share my materials, open educational resources. That's what we call them. refrain from copying other teachers kasi po pinaghirapan nila yon, so why not gawa na lang din tayo na may pagmamalaki natin sa sariling atin, which makes sense actually. But yeah,
Pero wait lang,
sharing is
before,
caring.
oo, yun yung gusto ko sabihin. Una, bakit ayaw nating kopyahin nila? Ano yung dahilan muna? Bakit ayaw natin mag-share? 'Di ba? Ano ba yung gusto nating itago doon sa work na yon? Why don't we want to share to other people? Will it benefit us if we do not share it? Do we plan to keep it forever and use it only on times where we want to use it? Because before, that's actually the mindset that we have, to
Yeah.
not share anything and to just use things parang hindi magandang kumuha ng information, kumuha ng technique, kumuha ng mga from other people. Pero pwede talaga. I mean, for example, if you see a teacher teaching a particular topic well, and you see the lesson being taught properly, nicely, the technique that was used was really very effective, what's stopping you from trying it out, 'di ba? I mean, let's be, 'di ba? Let's be honest, 'di ba? Hindi naman siya tipong hindi ka naman kumikita din doon, 'di ba? Hindi ka naman mawawalan. I think because we all want to be able to improve the way we teach, and to be effective teachers, we also have to update the way we teach, the way we interact with students, the way we do our assessments, the way we do our lessons. How will we do that if we don't learn from other people who are already on that particular level? So for example, I'm a new teacher and Jim is a senior teacher. And when I watch, parang baliktad, no? Anyway, so for example, Jim is a senior teacher and I'm a new teacher. When I watch Jim, I will be getting a lot of techniques and parang strategies to make my life easier and my students' life better, or I will improve the way they're going to learn based on what I see on how Jim teaches. So, ako, ang lagi ko iniisip, gusto ko ba siyang i-keep? Or gusto ko ba siyang gamitin para matulungan yung ibang tao? So, if it will benefit a lot of people and you're willing to share it, please do share it. Huwag kayong mahiyang mag-share ng content. Kaya nga may webinars na ganito, or kaya nga nag-share ng mga lessons, or kaya nga minsan may mga webinars on how to teach a particular topic, because we want people to learn from either negative things from others. Diba? Kunyari, mali ang way of teaching mo. So, hindi mo na uulitin yon kasi alam mo nagkamali siya, parang ganyan. So yung mga worksheets, I think ang unang-unang isipin nyo lagi is, why is it not shared in the school community? Is it a culture of the school? Or is it because you work individually as teachers? Kasi depende yan sa culture of the school. Kasi for us, it's team planning. So given na, for example, I made the presentation for this topic, tapos wala siya. Sasabihin niya, can I borrow your presentation? Kasi pinag-usapan naman natin kung paano gawin. Diba? But of course, kanina I saw also some comments stating that when you receive something, for example, a worksheet, you also have to have effort to actually improve it, be more creative. Or, for example, hiniram ko yung keynote presentation or PowerPoint presentation. Kailangan i-edit ko in a way that will benefit my students. Hindi yung paghiram ko, yun na yun. Kasi baka nga hindi siya bagay sa context ng mga estudyante ko, di ba? Of course, we have to remind ourselves that our students, the way they learn from us is different from how other students learn from a particular teacher. So that should be taken into consideration as well. Yun.
Ayan. I think this has been a very interesting discussion. Sabi sa inyo, this will really touch a lot of our experiences. I think very interesting. Sharing is caring, and of course, we do share. It's a form of collaboration, but at the same time, also, if we are the one receiving, if we want to receive those materials, isipin natin kung ano yung intention natin, right? Are we just, asking for materials just because we don't want to work, or because, very, very important din, that yung intention. We don't want to be selfish, but on the other side, diba? On the other side of the party, I hope that you don't get to abuse, right? You don't get to abuse
Correct.
the goodness of the heart of your fellow teachers. And if you do, receive something, please acknowledge, right? Please acknowledge who made it, and please make sure that you don't just simply erase the name and claim it in your own. And even, sabi nga sa isang comment dito, they even sell them daw. They profit out of it. Come on, that's too much. We're all educators. Well, we're all educators. I think we're all educators. I think we need to look at our own school culture also. Jessica and I work in the same school. The culture really is sharing. It doesn't matter who's using it, because we trust our own fellow teachers, our co-teachers. And when we do receive material, for example, I asked Jessica, do you have a PowerPoint on this? May I use this? I'll credit you. I even make a shout out of you when I use this in my class. Things like that. I think it's very important. But again, please, as teachers, you're also models of digital citizenship, by the way. So please don't just erase and then put your name on it.
I guess tama yung comment ng isang participant natin na I think the issue also is removing the name of that person with the intention of putting his or her name. Actually, if you remember, Jim, this was a sobrang issue before. Parang lahat yata ng works natin made by. To be honest, hindi na yon ginagawa ngayon. We don't do made by anymore. There's lesser because we want to be able to share and everything else. So, but I think it depends on what type of culture you want to develop in your school, or what you want to acknowledge in the school. So for example, I think ang sinasabi nila, baka nga yung mga nanghihiram, lagi na lang manghihiram. Mahirap din naman yon, di ba? Kaya nga it's very important also to be kasi as teachers, you know this, you make group works and you want to assign a particular task to a student to make sure that that particular person will do the task. Kasi pag walang assignment of task, hindi gagawa yung iba. Magpe-petik sila. Wow! Or wala silang gagawin, di ba? Parang teacher din yan. If you don't assign task on what they need to do, for example, they will keep on just, I think that's the concern of some of the other teachers here, that kukunin na lang ng kukunin lagi yung resource without actually having effort to make your own. So I guess yun yung concern. So yung problema actually hindi naman yung paghihiram, yung tao ang problema, di ba? Dahil wala naman siya talagang balak gumawa. So I guess the formation should not go to the borrowing, but rather to the person who's borrowing it. Diba? It's not a question of who is borrowing or why the borrowing takes place, but that particular person who's actually not making anything or any effort at all to make his or her lesson plan or instructional materials, nang umaasa na lang siya sa darating na biyaya. Ang swerte.
Yeah. All right. Just to break this conversation, because we've discussed it, from Farah, I think this is so interesting, this is so funny. Hi, Ma'am Jessica. Sinunod ko po ang payo ninyo kanina na try to Google yourself. Sinearch ko po sa Google ang name ko at nalaman ko na ilan pala sa mga piyesang ginawa ko. Maybe music teacher si Teacher Farah Grace ay napunta na sa script, Pinoy Collection. So, if you see like websites like this posting your work without really your permission, email them, write a letter to them, email, no, not to write a letter, and send an email to them, send a message to them, and tell them that you own them and you're requesting them to remove it. So that's okay. That rights belong to you. You have the right to do that. All right. So yan. Sana Jessica, ito yung pina-activity mo kanina, no?
Oo nga
Google your
eh.
and see what you can find about
Yeah.
yourself. Right.
See what
So there.
see what's out there. See what people say about you. Nakakatakot yan. Or see what people post about you and what information is there about you. So try it. Don't do it just one time. If you can, Google yourself as soon as you... Kasi diba, the more interaction you do online, the more footprint you leave. So for example, ewan ko napapansin nyo, it's very easy to think that may algorithm talaga yung usage natin when we are online. Example, kanina lang nagse-search ako, for example, sa Facebook, and then I click on a video about a particular topic, for example, dogs. After a few seconds, lahat na ng ads tungkol sa dogs. Sobrang clear. Clear evidence that there really is tagging, there really is an algorithm that records your movements, your footprints online. So therefore, even if you did it a few years back, you posted it a few years back, you made a social media comment a few years back, it will all be able to, it will be tagged, it will be connected to your digital footprint. So kaya nga lagi natin sinasabi sa mga bata, di ba? Think before you post. Teachers, please, tayo din po. Think before we post something because it really is going to be connected to you no matter how private you want it to be. Kasi sa totoo lang po, wala pong private sa online. Kahit may privacy pa, kahit na sinasabi natin pina-private natin yung mga bagay, anything can happen. People can hack into your account, they can post it. So all your privacy goes out of the door already. So we have to be very careful with all these kinds of things.
Yeah, if I may add, because I have a lawyer friend, so shout out to my lawyer friend, Attorney Buemio. This was a discussion that we had, si Daryl, if you remember. He actually told me that, the only private setting in social media is when you post and the only person who can see it is yourself. Even if you post, choose who will be the viewers of your social media, that's not anymore private because in a way you still have shared it to other people. And if they have friends, yan yung nangyayari, di ba? You thought it was just posted to your friends and a friend of your friend actually saw it and then took a screenshot of it. You can argue, they said, you cannot argue that it's private because in the end, the only private thing is parang sa bahay lang. Ano ba yung private? It's just you inside the room and nothing and no one else, right? So they said that's social media, right? Oh, very interesting topic. Actually, dear teachers, our topic is for digital citizenship for our students, right? Medyo, I think we got a little too far from our discussion, but still this is okay because we're talking about copyrights and making sure that our identities are protected. I hope we get to translate this. We get to translate this for our students also. So, for example, if you're keeping your identity private, hopefully you also think the same way for your students, right? That you also keep their identity also, right? So make sure that we get to transfer. Medyo teacher kasi yung pinag-uusapan natin ngayon, but our topic is for our students. So baka we can still invite Mrs. Demegillo to talk about further on maybe because we were looking forward to talk about how to keep our students safe from cyberbullying and all those kinds of stuff. Medyo naging teacher-centric tayo, but that's okay because it's still applicable. One question here, Jet. In the time of the pandemic, how do we avoid fake news and articles that spread out misinformation in the internet or on the internet? They promote false information, aggressive, and manipulation mindset of everyone who's online.
I guess first, we should not be the one spreading the fake news. sa totoo lang, di ba, nung umpisa parang we were so, because it's easy to share information. Click mo lang yung share, pwede ka na mag-share ng kahit ano, di ba? But I guess the first step is to make sure that the information you share is not fake. Kasi kapag, lalo na kasi teachers tayo, medyo meron tayong certain authority on things. So when we share something, it's like saying na pinag-isipan ko itong mabuti bago ko siya i-share, so paniwalaan mo ko. Ngayon, ganyan. Naalala nyo kapag walang pasok, may hashtag walang pasok. Tapos lahat tayo mag-share, walang pasok, walang pasok. Marirealize mo, 2012 pa pala yung article pero hindi mo siya binasa. Sobrang excited ka lang mag-post. So kanina, I actually discussed this already about fake news. And it's very important to take into consideration what particular information you want to spread out there. So if you're really not sure if that information is fake or not, you have to research some more. So that's a very basic technique that you should do. For example, you posted something about vaccines, diba? And then that particular information came from an article posted by a website that you're not really sure of because it's not one of those journals or online news articles, but it's from someone who you haven't heard before, maybe, or from someone who's not that known or walang reputation of making articles like this. Alam mo na sa isip mo, mali, baka may mali doon sa ipopost mo. So before you actually post those kinds of information, research. Kasi we're not ordinary, sad to say, we're not ordinary people. We're teachers. Teachers have authority on things. So when a student actually sees you posting this kinds of information or this kind of topic or this kind of article, tapos nakita nila, oy, sabi ni teacher, wag daw ako magpa-vaccine or pag nagpa-vaccine ako ng ganito, mamamatay ako, mga ganyan. So, and, syempre, ang una nilang isipin, teacher to, hindi naman siya basta-basta magpo-post ng kung ano-ano, di ba? So, as teachers, we have to take into account our authority, who we are, how important what we say and do and post. And if we really want to be able to make sure that fake news doesn't just parang go out there and more people reading it or watching it, then don't be the one who will share that information if you're not sure that it's the right information to be shared. Diba? Kung hindi ka naman sigurado at alam mong hindi tama yung i-share mo kasi parang hindi naman siya reliable resource, don't. Tapos kanina, ang isang tanong is, how do we stop, diba? Pag mali, sabihan, call out. Diba? For example, may pinost yung isang student or isang teacher, tas binasa mo, tas alam mo namang mali, ni-research mo, mali pala talaga, then you call that person out. Sabihin mo, ma'am, I think what you posted is not right. These are the resources that you should take into consideration. Because it's like bullying, right? If you're just a bystander who doesn't do anything or who doesn't make the necessary steps to correct things, nothing will happen. It will keep on spreading. You will be part of that someone who spreads it because you did not do anything about it. Things like that. So, ganun lang. If you think it's not right, if you want your students to be heard, as a teacher, dapat yung voice nyo rin marinig, di ba? Let's not be afraid also to say that this is the wrong thing to do. Yung ginagawa mo mali. Basta we just take into consideration how we're going to say it and respect that person's right as well. So, hindi naman pwedeng para ka namang makikipaglaban na tipong ikaw na rin ang mambubuli online, di ba? There are other ways of correcting or calling out a person. So maybe those are the things that we have to take into consideration.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we have comments coming here from RJ saying na all-in-one, the version of this when we're now, but fruitful and informative. Yeah, I think it's really important that when we talk about digital, by the way, digital citizenship is not just something that we talk about for 1 hour. Since Jessica is our computer education department chair, she is in charge of the curriculum of the computer education a lot of us here, maybe we have some school leaders list watching us. Maybe Jessica, you could describe like how we do or how you do the curriculum of computer education and how integral digital citizenship it is. Like, is it just in one lesson, 1 year long, or does it appear in all grade level?
Okay, thank you for that. We actually have computer ed for grades 3 and 4 now, and grades 7 to 12. In each of the grade levels, we have a particular topic on digital citizenship. It's a one-term topic because we are tri-sem now. And then each particular digital citizenship topic is discussed thoroughly, and students are able to share information about their experiences. So, for example, we have a topic in e-commerce, so which is so relevant because we all buy things online, right? We give information online when we want to purchase something, and when students share these particular types of information, you will see how unfiltered they are and how dangerous the transactions are when they purchase something. So I guess what we did was to make sure that in each of the grade levels, a particular digital citizenship topic is discussed, and we it is age appropriate. So for example, since they're already in grade 10, maybe we can talk about e-commerce and how, because those are, I think, the ages where they buy something on their own, right? So that's where we discuss digital commerce, or where they start having interests with girls. So may identity theft na lesson. Kasi baka mamaya nagpapanggap lang na girl yung kausap nila pero hindi pala. Mga things like that. So for us, for the computer education department, it's very important that these particular topics are discussed more thoroughly now because the students are all online. So what we did this particular school year, we have digital citizenship ever since. But now we actually allotted a term for this just to be able to discuss with the students what they need to do or how they're going to be good or better digital citizens there.
Yeah, I think this is one way, a great way for us to end. We haven't noticed, we had a very long open forum. And of course, the digital citizenship is our topic, but you can, one thing to have this intentionally really as something part of the curriculum, maybe check your curriculum. Do you have a curriculum for digital citizenship? If you have a computer education subject, for example, do you only talk about how to fix a computer, the parts of the computer, or do you even talk about, are you even talking, do you talk about, the privacy, how they can change their password? Those are the basic one. Like, how do they protect their password? There's a question here from Maria Lourdes. Do you talk to your students on how they can protect themselves from online predators? I think these are the very important questions that need to be discussed in your school. A big question that we have right now, is it also okay to use social media as a platform for learning?
Yeah,
this has
that's
been
also a good topic.
This has been a big question. Like, a lot of schools make use of Messenger, make use of Facebook, but have we really asked ourselves, is it worthwhile to use this social media platform? Some educators are even, we can use TikTok to teach students, but most of the time the question is, are they worth it? Like, if I am the teacher of Yana, Jessica's daughter, and I ask Yana to go to TikTok and watch my lessons on math, I don't know, algebra. I would Yana spend more time listening to me, or will she spend more time recording her own dance challenge? Things like
recording,
that.
joke lang. Hindi, pero before that, I guess the strategy is to not go to the sites or the apps that are not safe, but to use the theme or the concept of that app and make your own. So for example, uso ngayon yung TikTok because they're quick videos. You don't need to go to TikTok to actually create the videos. You just follow how it's done and use a safer platform. So those are the kinds of things that you can do.
Yeah. So our teachers, being in social media could be very challenging. Let's be more careful. If we're very good in TikTok, let's think twice, try. Sabi nga ng isa dito, think 7 times. Should we ask our students to go on social media, give us a follow, or is it better to have a safer platform like a learning management system where we can upload everything? Edmodo, Google Classroom, Schoology, and all those kinds of stuff. So yeah, I think those are very important questions. We hope that we can have Mrs. Demegillo. There are a lot of questions, part 2. We can have a part 2 with her and just go directly sa Q&A, open forum na agad. That would be good, I think. So let's see if we can make that happen. But very interesting. We've taken note of a lot of your questions, and we hope that we could answer them in the coming session if we have more sessions also. But yeah, some closing reminders or closing remarks, Mrs. Demegillo.
I guess, katulad ng sinabi mo, this is supposed to be how we want our students to become digital citizens, better digital citizens. But to be honest, we cannot teach the students to be better digital citizens if the teacher is not a good digital citizen. It always boils down to who is teaching and why that particular teacher is teaching it. So if you practice what you preach, di ba? Parang lagi naman natin sinasabi yan, di ba? Paano mo papapaniwala yung mga tao kung ikaw mismo hindi mo yun ginagawa? So if you want our students to be safe online, to be secured online, to be better digital citizens, then we should also be better with our online interactions. We also have to take care of ourselves. We also have to take care of the things that we put out there, so that when our students when we say to our students, you should be a good digital citizen, we know in our hearts that we are. So we know that when we do it and we influence others to do it as well, it's like telling, kasi di ba lagi naman, they learn more if it's based on experience. So if you want to be able to inspire your students more, be inspiring. Diba? Be inspiring. Yes, be a role model. Mahirap, alam ko, kasi syempre, kunyari, mahirap maghanap ng free na mga resources. But it should, di ba? Totoo naman, di ba? Mahirap maghanap ng video na free, mahirap maghanap ng music na free. Kanina pinag-usapan natin. If you can develop your own, please do. Please do develop your own. And if you have developed your own content and you're willing to share it to everyone, please do as well. Diba? We learn from each other. We want to be able to influence more people. We want to be, if we are a good teacher or a great teacher at that, we want others to be great teachers as well. Yun. So yun lang. Yes, I'm looking forward to another session. Parang di natin nasagot lahat ng mga tanong nila. Parang ang dami nilang gustong itanong. Parang naging talk show. Anyway, but I learned a lot. And thank you also for listening, and to those who ask questions. We appreciate all your questions, and we hope you learned a lot. Shout out sa mga taga Cagayan Valley. Dahil ko nakita kanina. Dahil ako po, at saka mga Ilocano, yan. So Ilocano kami ni Jim, at ako po ay taga Tugigaraw, Cagayan. So hi, thank you for joining me, and I hope I have another. And ayun, may watching from Antipolo, where I am now. Ayun, tinag ko yung sarili ko. Ayun. Thank you everyone for joining me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Jay. Please stay safe. Kanina, we were very scared a while ago because there's thunderstorm in Antipolo right now where Jessica is. But we were able to survive, and we had a lot of great feedback. Maybe part 2 about this. Let's see if we can make that happen. So thank you so much, Jessica. Please stay safe. And yeah, I think we're now ready to end our session for this afternoon. Bye, Jessica. Thank you. All right. So I think we were able to have a very good discussion. Thank you so much. We've enjoyed the very interactive participation of everyone here. Thank you so much for throwing your thoughts to us. And we really appreciate your sincerity, your candidness, medyo yung hugot. The hugot is deep. It it's so deep. It speaks of our own experiences. But again, yeah, I think one beauty of the webinar, I know that we sort of, went off tangent for some for a few times from our topic this afternoon. But I think Jessica really ended our discussion well. We cannot just simply ask our students to become better digital citizens if we don't show it to them, right? So you yourself, our dear audience, has mentioned in your our comment section about the importance of being a good role model for our students. Remember modeling. You've learned that in education that says one of the best ways for students to learn is to really see their teachers doing it and learning from them. So modeling. So again, we need to be more careful of the things that we share online. Sabi nga ng isa, tinuturuan natin ng mga bata na wag mag-rant, wag mag-share ng fake news, wag makipag-away sa Facebook. But if the teacher is doing those things, I don't think we're really walking the talk that we have, taught our students. So again, being a teacher does not stop after 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. for some. It stays with us 24/7. So I hope that we get to realize our own responsibility in the formation of our students. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Now we are on to the last closing part of our session, and I just want to take this opportunity again to thank our partner, of course, Jessica Demegillo, our speaker, for spending time with us this Saturday afternoon. We also want to thank our co-presenter. Of course, this webinar series is co-presented, sponsored by our partner, Globe Telecom, the largest telecommunication company in the Philippines, who is also our generous sponsor for the GCash prizes. So, for you to participate in our raffle draw, at the same time receive e-certificates, we need to make sure that you answer properly our evaluation form, check the spelling of your name, check your email addresses also, and make sure that your GCash number is a verified account to make sure that you get to receive our GCash prize for you. So thank you also to, okay, maybe we can show the link now. Can we show the link of the webinar where they can find the evaluation? I think it's already posted. Please visit. We want you to visit our website, www.tagpros.org. The evaluation form is in there. It's embedded in our website. So you have to go to tagpros.org to make sure that you answer the evaluation from there. Also, please make sure that you try to explore our new website. So we have refreshed our website, tagpros.org. For everyone's knowledge, tagpros.org is a non-profit organization who is driven. We are all driven at Tagpros with the mission to help our children, especially at this time of the pandemic. And one way of helping our children right now is to make sure that we get to support our dear teachers. So please go to www.tagpros.org for the evaluation. Also, I want to take this opportunity. One of our co-presenters is Tagpros Education. It's an up-and-coming education marketplace where I think this is one solution where we actually partner with teachers who create their own content and sort of get something out of it in a very legal way. So we're here to support you. So please watch out for more information about our Tagpros teacher partners. And of course, the form where you can signify your interest to be our partner is also in tagpros.org. All right, so please explore our website and make sure that you get to check the different features of our programs in there. So again, we thank our other partners, the Department of Education International Cooperation Office, under the leadership of Director Margarita Consolacion Ballesteros, Teacher Education Network Philippines under the management of Mr. Gino Luwayon, and of course under the leadership also of Mrs. Jessica Demegillo, next series by the Computer Department. All right, I think we're all good with what we have done for today. Please don't forget to do the evaluation at our website, www.tagpros.org. Make sure that you share also. You have 1 week. So if you have co-teachers who are interested in watching the webinar, you have 1 week to be part of Team Replay and answer the evaluation form for this part. We will see you again for part 3 next week, and we hope that you keep yourself safe and healthy. And finally, teach your passion, and of course, make sure that you take care of yourself at this time of the pandemic. Okay, so again, I'm Jim, and thank you for joining us today. Stay safe, everyone. God bless.
When the pandemic was officially announced and the whole country was in a lockdown, we were thinking, how are we going to end the school year?
How can St. Peter's College of Vermont continue on with its mission to provide holistic quality education?
I was really grasping for answers and talking to experts, consulting to parents and all. It was really a terrible moment.
It also didn't help that the pandemic started in the middle of the academic year, and so we had to act fast.
Others have suggested that maybe we can temporarily close our school for a while, but some of us have this kind of hope that we can just carry on.
We want to bring our education in a different level, and we know that technology is the answer.
By using virtual platforms, we were able to continue this year with a partnership with Globe through Brightspace.
When we got to Brightspace, we were able to continue a consistent quality of education. And when that arrived, we were now able to have a stable class. We were able to submit activities freely and at our own pace.
It has really helped our teachers in order to deliver their modules, their content to our students.
The ease of sharing content, real-time assessment, and structured learning process in the system of Brightspace made the learning life of every member of our community exciting and better.
Through Brightspace, we were able to see that yes, we can restore some semblance of normal life with the aid of technology.
This pandemic brought a really huge change which pushed us to innovate.
One of the best investments you can make is Brightspace for you to use to deliver your quality education to your students.
Transition to the new normal. We have left others behind. We need to reimagine and redesign our educational system. With the collective effort of schools, sponsors, and TagPro's learning management system, and core of passionate teachers, we can deliver free education and champion the cause of our students. Together, we would be able to teach, inspire, and serve, because TagPros believes that education is a right all children deserve.